Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. Once again, the Barnes and Tony Show. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Another day here in the cold, the brisk, the winter, Brian. Crazy Monday Night Football game. Stayed up late for it. Feeling the effects right now, Brian.
You're tired,
But
you're saying.
here we are. Yeah, a little bit.
How many hours of sleep?
6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
I mean, 6.5. I mean, compared to Michael, I feel like is running on like 3.
Yeah,
day,
probably.
right?
Yeah.
So 6.5. I mean, that sounds pretty good.
Mhm.
But Fur tunes in.
Oh, I knew he was waiting before we saw you waiting in the queue, dude. Hey, guys, great gaming corner. Thanks for the high energy, he says.
So thank you, Renee. We appreciate it.
Yes. I mean, I'm with the Madden, with the PGA, get a little riled for the pizza, dude. The Beverly's excited?
Beverly's was great. Beverly's was great.
I know, it really was, dude. Nothing like that.
What was your thoughts on Madden?
I think that, I mean, it was fun. I had a great time. It's definitely an interesting game. It's definitely a very different dynamic, I think, from like the show, from Chell, from PGA, obviously, too. There's a lot. I don't know. I feel like a lot of it has to do with, I think it'd be better if you, like, if I've had multiple actual players on my team, we were playing different positions and stuff, you know, rather than the CPU playing a guy and it's just like he's not doing well. Like, it's not doing it for me. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think the biggest thing is chokery all the way from Raleigh, North
Good morning,
Carolina.
guys. I'm excited about today's show. Yeah, because the Hurricanes won and Brian picks against them.
3-0 for the
Oh,
Hurricanes.
man,
Ranta,
dude.
I believe, with the pitching the shot.
I do believe so. Second of the year, I think.
I believe so. And you know, of course, we always appreciate chokery tuning in. But one thing I was going to say too, Tony, you know, in respect to Madden is I think it's different from the old days, you know, like Madden 08 and all that, where you could just huck it downfield.
Right.
That's how you lose the game. Like you basically, you can't throw a deep pass unless like the guy is completely burned the corner. Otherwise, it's just going to get picked off.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And it's tough too, because I think not everybody, you know, has the patience to just run it, you know, 70% of the time, you know?
Yeah. Running it's kind of a chief move, dude.
Chief, but also
Effective.
You want to win.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean? So you could mix it in. It just you got to be careful. And it's like it almost is realistic in a respect where the decision making process. You know what I mean? You have like a split second to decide. Okay, does this guy have separation? Is this a smart throw?
Yeah.
And it's so easy. You know, you press the wrong button.
I know,
dude.
dude.
But you gotta love Madden, honestly.
Great game.
But. Yeah, but I'm excited, you know, for 2K next time and NHL around the corner.
I have a feeling, Brian, you're gonna get addicted to that game.
NHL?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I will. I'm just a little nervous because I in spots, you know, I've played NHL before. I think your NHL, you know, last year, and it's just so difficult. So I'm just worried that I'm gonna get it. I'm not gonna be able to score. It's gonna be annoying. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, when you get it, just play it a few days before the gaming corner. You know, get used to it, dude. Because it's not once you pick it up, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. So
Matthew, check it in. Choo choo, I guess he says. What up, dude?
Oh man, that's funny. You can just say chokery next time.
I can picture Matthew saying this stuff.
Oh,
I can hear him right now.
I can hear it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But also though, just before we switch gears here, PGA, man. I mean, is it not awesome?
It really is so much fun, dude.
You like the 2-on-2 better?
I do. Yeah, I do. When you pick best ball, it adds another element. You know, you're playing almost like a team sport.
Yeah, and better course selection last night with TPC.
Yeah.
Cromwell.
Definitely.
Which course has been your favorite so far?
Honestly, I guess Scottsdale, I think.
Yeah.
The first one we played
The
was
desert,
yeah, it was
the
dope,
mountains.
dude. Yeah.
So we'll keep mixing up the courses, but you gotta love PGA Tour 2K23.
You gotta.
But let's go now to the world of the National Football League.
6 for 101, 2 touchdowns. To Evans, touchdown, Tampa Bay. How about that throw? Sam Darnold blasted. Oh my goodness, did he take a hit? In trouble once, brings him down. Lost one for Odell Beckham Jr. Got it down, touchdown.
All right, Tony. So it was an entertaining Monday Night Football game last night to round out Week 10, and a little bit of an upset here. The 11-point dogs with the outright victory. The Washington Commanders 32, the Philadelphia Eagles 21. And we spoke about it yesterday when we were playing Madden and just a couple seconds ago. Running the ball, very key. You look at Washington, this one, as a team, they carried the ball 49 times for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. So really committed to that run game. You look at Heineke, he was fairly accurate, 17 out of 29. Did have the 1 interception, only sacked 3 times, but did enough for his team to win this game. And he did enough in terms of getting the ball to Terry McLaurin, their number 1 wide receiver. He had 8 receptions for 128 yards. And this is a big win for the Commanders. And it's amazing to think how the narrative on them has changed. And it really coincides with the Carson Wentz injury. But at one point, Tony, they were 1-4. They find themselves at 5-5. So they're definitely alive for a playoff berth.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good story for sure. And the thing is, too, at some point, we don't know exactly when, but Chase Young is going to come back. So you think about adding him to this defense. And I really like both of the running backs, Gibson and Robinson. They both are good out of the backfield, catching the ball as well. So I think good things lie ahead for the Washington Commanders. And they were talking about it on the Monday Night Football broadcast last night in terms of with Heineke, with Wentz. I think it might be another week or two, and then they're saying Wentz will be back, and they're just making the assumption. I don't know if Ron Rivera has made an official announcement, but that he's going to step back in to the starting quarterback position. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, interesting, dude. I don't like that at all. No?
Yeah, I said this yesterday.
Just kill momentum here.
I just think I think the guys rally around Heineke more.
Clearly, dude, I think the entire fan base rallies around Heineke more, I feel. I mean, they absolutely love him. And you see the photo of him in the plane with the beers and the chains. I mean, it's almost like a Fitzpatrick-esque situation where, I mean, the fans love him, and obviously the team seems to like him. And he's winning. Like, what are we doing? Why would we not start him again?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And just looking on the other side of the field here, the Philadelphia Eagles, their first loss of the season. So last night, of course, the 72 Dolphins, Larry Zonka, the whole thing, popping the champagne, still the only undefeated team in NFL history.
Pretty hyped.
Definitely hyped. And you look at the Eagles here, Hurts, the 1 interception hurt him. He was only sacked once. He threw for $175 and 2 scores. On the ground, he did have a rushing touchdown, but I think the Washington defense did a good job of limiting, his running opportunities. Only 28 yards and 6 carries. Miles Sanders, I thought, looked pretty good. 12 carries, 54 yards. And I think in terms of the Eagles and to why they lost this game, I think Washington's defense did a good job in coverage. You look at the main targets on the Eagles here. Devonta Smith, 6 receptions, only 39 yards. And then A.J. Brown, who's been going nuts last couple of weeks, 1 reception for 7 yards. And I think that's why the Philadelphia Eagles lost this game.
And now, Brown, for example, was someone who was targeted 4 times, obviously only getting the 1 reception. I mean, do you think what you saw, that was more of the Commanders' defense, or maybe Hurts?
No. Let me tell you, Jalen Hurts doesn't get tired of throwing a big body receiver like A.J. Brown the ball. That was definitely the Washington defense. And obviously Ron Rivera, with his defensive background, a member of the 85 Bears. So I think they just did a really good job in that respect. I mean, and you're going to beat the Eagles when their leading receivers is Quez Watkins.
Right.
80 yards and 50 of that came on 1 catch. Now, moving forward, because obviously we know what the NFL is. It's a it's a copycat league, so I'm sure teams will use this type of strategy in terms of tight coverage, running the football, controlling clock. It was amazing. I don't know if you saw the Commanders in the first half. Tony had 3 separate drives that were at least 6 minutes, dominating time of possession, and that's something that the Eagles have done themselves. So, do you think that they're going to run into trouble now? Teams knowing, okay, this is our blueprint. This is what we got to do.
I don't know about running into trouble. I mean, I would honestly, expect the Phillies, the Eagles to kind of adjust accordingly. I mean, I understand, they did have those few drives, Washington, that, it was over 6 minutes, 7 minutes, very sustainable drives, a lot of running, getting those first downs. You right over there, dude?
Yeah, everything is all right, Tony. Continue on.
But in reality, I mean, the Eagles could have won this game,
Right.
I mean, I don't think it's anything like, oh, sound the alarms or whatever. Yes, the Commanders seem to have, a good blueprint in terms of how to attack the Eagles. But I mean, that's basically any team. If you're holding the ball the entire game, obviously the other team can't score. So I mean, that's really everyone's goal, is to have time of possession as much as possible. It's just that it seems that last night, the Commanders just did it better. The Eagles had a few mistakes in the end there. They had a lot of fumbles. I think the Eagles had 3 fumbles on the entire season up until last night. They had 3 fumbles last night in big spots, mind you. These were drives in the fourth quarter that would have meant the game for them, and they're fumbling the ball. They're giving turnovers. There was that crazy play with the punter, who's, I don't know his name, but, he was getting some heat from the Commanders defense here, and he decided to kind of, tuck the ball in, take a few steps out wide, and then try and kick it. And of course, that screwed off all the timing. There was an eligible man downfield, taking time off the clock, didn't get the stoppage for the 2-minute warning, had to punt again here. And that kind of killed a lot of time for the Eagles as well. Not to mention, I think they fumbled it after that. So the Eagles is, again, it's not like, oh man, the Eagles are gonna run into some trouble here. They just had a bad game. One bad game this season so far. So I don't think it's anything crazy to look into.
What'd you make of them throwing the flag on that hit on Heineke late in the game?
Honestly, it didn't surprise me. The flags they've been throwing all season now with protecting the quarterback and everything. But in reality, Heineke, he slid. I suppose he gave himself up, but it's like, what's his face? Who's like he's been in the league for like 13 years. The guy who they called the penalty on.
Brandon Graham.
Yeah. He kind of tried to stop himself, but it was just like an awkward fall. And Heineke was also almost getting up again. And it's like, if you're a quarterback and you're sliding, the rule should be you slide, don't move until you're touched. Then, okay. I think the whole personal foul thing is bullshit anyway. He was moving, whatever, but I guess the refs at this point, they are consistent with those fouls, throughout those penalties throughout the whole season. So yeah, I guess that's okay.
And it's a situation where I feel like there's no perfect answer, but in your mind, do you feel the rule is right just because this is a quarterback-driven league? We don't want these guys getting hurt, or do you feel like it's gotten to a point of insanity where the defenders can't breathe on the quarterback?
Yeah, I think it is gotten to a point of insanity. Not to mention the quarterback takes advantage of it. We've seen quarterbacks fake slide.
Heineke pointed at the ref.
Yeah, like, dude, relax.
But Heineke, I still like him though. He's fired up.
Yeah, I guess
taking advantage of his opportunity.
No, yeah, he certainly is. He's rising to the occasion. But like I said, quarterbacks are starting to take advantage of these rules now. When you're seeing the fake slide, so it's like, now what do players do? Like Heineke, slid, then started to move. So it's like, as a defender, I'm like, all right, like, whatever, I guess. And again, like, it seemed like he made an attempt to stop Graham, right?
Yeah, it just like it was last second, so his momentum carried him forward.
Yeah. So, and again, obviously, like, the refs nowadays, it's just snap call, like, like right away. No consulting. No, well, what do we think about that? It's just snap call, every time. So, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I doubt they make any changes, but would be something to consider. And just to kind of wrap up our conversation on this game, I just wanted to see your thoughts here on the Eagles. So next 4 weeks at Colts, home to Packers, home to Titans, at Giants. I look at that, and I don't know what you think, Tony, but I think there's a chance to lose 3 out of 4 of those games.
You said
this is a tough stretch.
at Colts, home to Packers, home to Giants,
and then at
Giants, home to Titans. They could lose 2 out of 4 here.
Possibly 3.
Possibly 3. Possibly 4, really. But I think they're going to beat the Colts. I think they're going to beat the Packers.
The Colts, though, wave of momentum Saturday.
Right.
Seeing the blueprint that the Washington Commanders, used last night. Plus, the Colts actually, believe it or not, you would never think this, I think have the 3rd ranked defense in the NFL.
Really?
Think about that. You think about Jonathan Taylor. First 100-yard games this week. Won last week. The pieces are in place. Veteran quarterback, Matt Ryan. I think already. I think I'm making that call. Upset for week 11. Colts over the Eagles. Colts, I think, probably have a more talented team than the Washington Commanders.
Oh, yeah, probably. You think they have a better chance of winning than the Titans?
I think the Colts have a better chance of winning than the Titans. Yeah, because I don't like the Titans passing game.
Right.
I think it's awful.
Titans defense?
No receivers. I think the Colts defense is better too. Right or no?
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like Titans give up a lot of points sometimes.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. Like Vrabel's hung around. And I know the record is pretty good, but it's like, when do he was a linebacker. He's a defensive minded guy. When do we think about the Titans, like the steel curtain defense for the Titans?
Yeah, no. Well, it'd be interesting to see, honestly. I guess how they feel. I keep going Phillies. How the Eagles try and kind of bounce back from that tough loss.
Couple lines I just want to run by you here. I think we're going to start doing this every week, just kind of to look at lines, just because they do this on the morning show. I feel like it's kind of fun here, and we could switch it where you do it to me next time. But so we'll start with this Eagles-Colts game. The Colts at home here. What's your guess on what the number is?
For the over-under or
for
the spread?
The spread, yeah. So Colts at home.
Eagles, what do they give, 9.5 points?
7.
Okay.
What about the Patriots at home against the Jets?
Oh. 3.
Let's
go, baby.
Let's see. Next one here. Cowboys on the road at the Vikings.
Cowboys on the road at the Vikings. Oh, man. I'll go 3 again.
Dallas -1.
Okay.
Road favorite. Cincinnati on the road at Pittsburgh.
Ooh, at Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Oh, that's interesting. Geez. I don't know. Give me Cincinnati -6.5.
5.
Damn.
Pretty close, though.
Yeah, pretty close.
Chiefs, Sunday Night Football at Chargers.
Chiefs 3.5.
7.
7. Damn
Chiefs,
it.
if you look at it, Chiefs always have a high number.
Yeah, they do.
And I think that's
feel like
why
the Chargers, maybe I should have said 7.
That's why handicappers get tight, but it's like, then take the other side. It's
right.
They're a good team. They're going to have high spreads. That's just how it is. I just want to see if there's one more here that's kind of interesting. Falcons at home against the Bears.
Oh, wow. Bears 3.
Falcons 3.
Oh, come on. That's ridiculous.
Last one, I promise.
All right. Not like this.
Yeah. Bills
at
home against the Browns.
Oh. I would say Bills 7.5.
8.5. Interesting though.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
I missed this one.
Oh boy.
This is actually the last one. It's actually the last game of the week here. This is from Mexico City, so keep that in mind. Cardinals, technically the home team, hosting the 49ers from Estadio Azteca, Mexico City. What is the line here?
49ers 6.5.
8.
Oh.
So interesting stuff, though. I think last
one.
We're missing the first game of Week 11. Titans at Packers.
Ooh. Wow. Titans at Packers. Give me the Packers are home at Lambeau. There's no way they're not favorited. Packers 5.
3. Rough stretch. Nice win.
Yeah.
But, so that's what we got. But week 11, we'll start 2 days from today. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, Prime Video, Lambeau Field. Can't wait to watch that one.
Can't wait.
But for now, Tony, let's go to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot.
Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He flattens Jordan Stahl. Oh, my goodness. That's the gun right back. Terrified and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliance from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
All right, Tony. So NHL last night, 4 games, just to kind of run them down for everybody. The Islanders, red hot, winning in Ottawa, 4-2. So they now stand at 11-6 on the season. And obviously we are still very much so in the early going, but they look like a team to be reckoned with. And they had the backup tender, Varlamov, right?
Varlamov, yep.
36 out of 38. That's a backup tender. And
he's a great tender.
In terms of the offense, so Noah Dobson with his 5th goal this season. Jean-Gabriel Pageau with his 2nd on a power play.
Jean-Gabriel Pageau. French.
And then to finish it off here, Brock Nelson, 9th goal of the season. Empty netter, assisted by Casey Cizikas and your favorite, Cal Clutterbuck.
Yeah, dude.
But when you look at this game, Tony, you look at the Islanders, we know what Sorokin does.
It's expected here.
What are we thinking about the Islanders moving forward here?
In terms of
where they stand in the league as a Stanley Cup contender.
Honestly, that's pretty interesting. I mean, when you think about it, just looking here, at the divisions here, Islanders actually right below the Devils here, for the Metropolitan. They're at 22 points. The Devils are at 24 here. And you look around the league, in terms of points, at least, teams that are contending with those 22 points. Suppose you can say Carolina with 21 in the same division, but Atlantic division, you have one team really. Bruins, Pacific, it's the Golden Knights here. And then, Central is kind of, pretty behind them. So, I mean, you think about it, at this point in the season, the way the Islanders are playing, they're certainly going to be a contending team to go pretty deep in the playoffs. And we've seen them kind of just touch the playoffs a little bit in the past few years, developing some young talent, keeping some veterans as well. Obviously, solidifying who's going to be in between the pipes for them. So, I mean, I think, it seems like that the stars are kind of aligning here for the Islanders to make a significant push. So,
yeah. And for me, I use a comparison to the NFL when we were talking about the 49ers yesterday. Who can you definitively say that they can't beat? And when I look at the Islanders, I mean, let's be real. Eastern Conference, I think they have good enough as anybody to win that conference. Yeah. So, definitely something to keep an eye out for. And I can't wait for the Rangers to get another crack at the Islanders. We know they've been their nemesis last couple times out. You mentioned the Hurricanes, 3-0 in Chicago over Chicago. And they started actually the 23-year-old tender.
The young boy.
Kochketov, 27 out of 27. So I know Chokri has been very high on him. Getting goals from Martinook, Jordan Stahl, and
Svechnikov.
Eventually, Tony, it will come to me naturally.
Svechnikov. Yeah.
With his 12th goal of the season. This going against Patty Mazurek, who was 29 of 32. Do we have a future Patrick Waugh in the making here, Tony.
I mean, it kind of seems like it. I mean, last time I believe his last start was against Edmonton, Carolina's 7-2 victory.
Chokri was there.
Chokri was there, yeah. And you had asked me the same question. I'm like, well, I gotta see a little bit more out of him. And it seems like he's kind of answering the bell here. Shutout victory against the Blackhawks. We know the Blackhawks aren't great, but I mean, any team has the potential to score when they have the puck on their side, right? So especially with some of the goal scorers on Chicago, for him to kind of face, what do we say, 27 shots? 27 shots. It's nothing crazy high, but it's still nothing to sneeze at here. It's not like he faced 18 shots. And I'm sure a lot of these shots were quality. So it seems like this guy has a lot of poise in net here. I'm trying to look up how 6'3", 205 pounds. It's a pretty light 6'3". He can probably be pretty swift, kind of skating from pipe to pipe. Of course, 6'3", I'm sure he's got those long limbs as well, making some pretty good saves here. I'd like to honestly continue to monitor his career here and for Carolina to have that solid backup. I think it bodes really well for them, obviously. Yeah.
We saw Calgary get off the schneid 6-5, a very high scoring game here over the Los Angeles Kings. And, I don't know if it was a combination of bad goaltending, good offense. Jonathan Quick, 24 out of 30. That's only an 80 save percentage. And Markstrom, a tick better, 24 out of 29, 828. We saw Huberdeau, second goal of the year. We also saw Lindholm with a 6th goal, a power play goal. Do you feel like we could potentially be seeing the Flames turn the corner?
Yeah, I think so. We talked about Huberdeau kind of getting a little bit more adjusted, I think I did say Kadri would have a hat trick last night. Obviously not the case.
Off the board.
Off the board for Kadri. Was he really off the board? Nothing. 2 assists.
Great.
2 assists, it's something, dude.
Right.
But nonetheless, they're getting some significant offensive looks here from Elias Lindholm, Magnipan, Richie, Tyler Toffoli as well, a goal and 2 assists. And these are all forwards, by the way. Of course, Huberdeau too with the goal. These are all forwards kind of spreading the wealth here. Seemingly, it does kind of look like they're getting used to playing with each other, not just relying on Huberdeau, relying on Kadri, right? They're kind of just setting themselves up. And, I will, mention Kadri with the 2 assists. Obviously, he was setting people up. I would say, honestly, obviously, good gritty win by Calgary. Very physical game. Calgary, 22 hits. The Kings had 24. I would say for the Kings to kind of hang around with Calgary, and that's just a lot here. 29 shots, even with Calgary. I mentioned their hits.
Michael
is in the building. Let's go. All right, it's quick. So we have his hand. Michael's hand is live in the building. And I mentioned they had more face-offs. LA, that was 34-33. I know it's just one, but still to be hanging around with Calgary. Calgary is supposed to be this powerhouse this year. Especially with their acquisitions in the offseason. LA is supposed to be a somewhat of a trending down team, older team. Jonathan Quick, people were kind of doubting him at this point. Anze Kopitar's got to be like 35 years old at this point. So it's pretty interesting to see LA kind of, obviously they lost, but to score 5 against Calgary, to hang around with them, I think it's pretty impressive. Of course, I am happy to see Calgary win. They were my pick, and I do think, once they get more used to playing with each other, there'll be better communication on defense, less goals for the opposing team.
Any concern in Colorado after a 3-2 defeat at the hands of the St. Louis Blues and making Jordan Binnington look like Marty Brodeur, 45 out of 47 between the pipes, Tony?
I don't think there's any concern here, honestly. We've seen St. Louis, kind of have these games where they have the upset. But also, Binnington, I think, was due for a big game here. Another goaltender who was kind of being doubted in terms of his ability. Binnington, I forget how old he is, but I feel like he hasn't had this high save game, especially against a game like, a team like Colorado. They're going to get, those 41, 42 shots on goal, stuff like that. I would say just Binnington was on fire. And when you have a goaltender who's locked in like that, I don't really care what team you are. Sometimes he just takes control of the game, and there's really not much you could do about it. So I would say tip my hat to Binnington. Obviously, great job for St. Louis on scoring. Again, we know they have good players. Pavel Buchnevich. We know about Vladimir Tarasenko as well. Colton Parayko. These are players that have been around. They've seen Stanley Cup finals. They've seen playoff finals. I'm not terribly surprised here. No.
But
Brian's
relative
pissed
when we compare things to 1 year ago. Obviously, the Avalanche running away with the West, and this is only in the West. Winnipeg, Dallas, Vegas, and Los Angeles all have more wins than the Colorado Avalanche at this point.
Yeah, that's not great, huh?
I don't know if it's Gorgiev. Solid game, but I don't know. Barnes is so ready to get rid of everybody.
Yeah, he loves it, dude. He absolutely loves firing people.
Well, like I said, the problem with society, lack of accountability.
I mean, Georgiev faced 39 shots. He saved 36 of them. Again, you can't really doubt him for that.
Honestly, I think it's more the offense hasn't looked the same.
Yeah, I mean, 45 shots. It could be a lack of Kadri for sure. Binnington 47 shots against him. You only scored twice. Obviously, you're not getting those quality shots. Either that or you're not doing something right. Maybe the puck isn't coming off your stick correctly. Maybe you're not deflecting those pucks in front of the net as well as you normally do. Just looking at Colorado's line here. Let's see, dude. McKinnon had 5 shots on net here. Lincoln had 3 with a goal. McKinnon only had 1 assist. No goals for him. Rantanen, the goal and assist on 4 shots. Rodriguez, the center, 5 shots. Nothing to show for it. Same thing with defenseman Eric Johnson, 7 shots on goal from the blue line here. Nothing to show for it. So, I think they could do a better job with the quality of their shots here. Cogliano, 2 shots, nothing to show for it. Come on, dude. I mean, you got to do a little bit better than that. I would imagine, Elias or Eric Johnson here is probably, Yawson pucks from the blue line. They got to do a better job in getting bodies in front of that and deflecting them in, especially when you have a goaltender like Binnington who's on fire. You need to get those dirty goals. They're going to have to be dirty goals. And those are things that Colorado, I want to say, isn't as used to, because last year they didn't really have to do that a lot. A lot of it was just skating east to west and just dangling and, popping it over the glove or getting it 5-hole. So maybe a little bit of adjustment could be needed for Colorado here. When you look at it, their big man who's in front of the net, I mean, do they really have one? I guess, Cogliano is pretty solid size, I suppose. Other than that, they're going to have to somehow adjust it and win these battles in front of the net. So
we do actually have some comments.
We have 6 comments, dude. Sorry, we're getting away here. Oh, and Michael's back for his comments. Michael says, Devils looking for 10 in a row against Brian's favorite team, the Canadiens.
The Canadiens.
That's all that should be spoken about on this hockey segment. Rangers are done. Whoa, dude. And then, but first is at Michael Thiefel. Nice Madden game last night. I was secretly rooting for you. Oh. And then Michael says, at Prefer, thanks, bud. Just trying to entertain the fine folks out there in Web 2 land. And then Matthew says, wow, Prefer, you're an actual fraud, my guy. Shaking my head, LOL. And then Chokri says,
just to call him Sevy.
Yeah, but I don't like that, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Svechnikov.
Unreal.
Svechnikov.
That's going to be great.
Chokery, we're gonna plan a sick day when you come visit, bud.
Oh yeah, dude. There's Chokery game or what?
I think I was saying, like, I don't believe he does, but I think we could get him there.
I think get a little bit of Chell going. Maybe it'll be the Whalers. You know,
a derby. I think start with the derby, and we'll go from there. Yeah. But that's obviously all really good stuff. Big slate here in the NHL. Very good there after a light one last night.
Oh, yeah,
and
dude.
Just doing the math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, Tony. What do you got?
Hey, man, Michael said it, even though I kind of said it first. Just want that to be pointed out here. But the Devils having a phenomenal season at 12-3. They're going to be in Montreal tonight. Only minus 178. I understand, Montreal, the fan base, the what have yous. They're also on a 3-game winning streak, beating Pittsburgh in overtime, Vancouver in regulation, Detroit in a shootout. I do think these teams that they've beaten are not as good as the Devils right now. Detroit, we've seen very lowly spots of them. They've kind of squeaked by once, bad games or games against, like the Islanders and the Rangers when they weren't playing up to their standards. Vancouver, I feel like is just inconsistent, hit or miss. Pittsburgh has not been, I think, themselves this at any point this entire year. And to have to go to overtime with them, I don't think really says a lot. We've seen the Devils have some close calls recently, and honestly, I don't know. I could see Montreal winning this one, but I'm taking the Devils here. I'm taking the youth. I think that they're going to come in here, and Vanasek is slated to be in between the pipes. He's 6-1 on the season, pitched a shutout, 2.33 goals against, 909 save percentage. I think our boy Allen on the Canadiens. I don't think he's going to be touching that at all. I think he gives up too many goals. His save percentage 902, solid. Goals against 3.19. I think this, Vanasek here, I think he's maybe a goal tonight, maybe 2. And I think Jersey scores 4. Give me the Devils here. I'll say 4-2.
All right. I'm going to go with the hottest team in the league here, the Vegas Golden Knights. They're at home against San Jose, who actually has won their last 2 games, but I feel like this is a complete mismatch from top to bottom. The one thing, though, I will give San Jose credit for, really Erik Karlsson. We talked about the disappointment, the major contract he got, and not having that scoring impact. He actually has 10 goals in 17 games after having 10 goals in 50 games last year. So finally getting that punch out of their defenseman that they were hoping for. But looking at Vegas, I just feel like they can beat you in so many ways. And they've had really good goaltending from Thompson, as well as Hill, the backup. He's got comparable numbers to Thompson, 5-1. Thompson's 8-2, both 2.32 goals against, and Thompson pitching 2 shutouts. And then Jack Eichel, he has been really, really good. So I expect him to have another 2 goals and assists in this one. Not going to be close. So if you want to cap this one, maybe -1.5 for Vegas. They're -278 on the money line here. But let's say Vegas at home, 6-2 over the Sharks.
Wow, 6-2 for Vegas, huh?
Yeah, over.
Yeah, that is the over. My next pick, oh man, I definitely want to take this Nashville game, but I kind of want to pick Nashville because of their guys on the team, but it's just Soros in between the pipes here just absolutely kills me. And I feel like Minnesota really haven't been scoring a lot, I feel. I guess Anaheim, they scored 4. Seattle shut out. LA shut out. Seattle scored 1. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Give me Nashville here. I just got a feeling Minnesota's offense hasn't really been that great. And it's kind of odd because you look at the stats. Their offense hasn't been great 5-on-5, but shorthanded, they have 3 shorthanded goals this season so far, which is pretty crazy. And Nashville's power play sucks. However, I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to take Nashville here, taking the dog. Okay, I'm going to say in regulation here, not a lot of power plays, 5-on-5 hockey. They play a clean game. Why not? I understand Soros kind of sucks, but Minnesota's struggling with 5-on-5 offense here. Nashville can score. You have Philip Forsberg, you have Niederreiter coming over from former Minnesota player. Actually, I say he has a big night here. I say 2 goals and an assist from him. Nashville helps out Soros with a dub here. They win 3-2 regulation.
All right. And I'm going to take the Flyers in the Tortorella revenge game last time.
You love it.
Blue Jackets, unfortunately, had their number. However,
watch out for that tribute video.
Goudreau got a little lucky last time, and he's an idiot for signing with the Blue Jackets, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Should have went to the Devils, dude. Should have went to the Devils.
But the Flyers have been impressive, 7-6-2 so far. A little bit of a scuffle last couple of games, but I think this is where they get back on track. And right now, Blue Jackets slight favorites at -105. So good value on the Flyers here. I could see this being 2-2 going into third. 2 goals for the Flyers in the third, excuse me. 4-2 Flyers over the Blue Jackets.
Now I'm just gonna double check daily face-off here.
Because we can always rely on that.
We can always rely. I mean, better than nothing, you know. Better than nothing. Matt Murray confirmed for Toronto. Okay. Let's see.
No, how annoying is it when you look this up and then you see the picture of Halak for the Rangers after it said Shesterkin unconfirmed?
Yeah.
And then Jaroslav Halak.
So I'm looking at the Anaheim Ducks tonight. I don't want Brian. Okay, so we had John Gibson, unconfirmed. Also, Ville Husso also confirmed for Detroit. I really want to take the dog. I think I'm getting a Barnes fever here, taking these dogs, dude. But I think Husso has been just absolutely so solid for Detroit. I understand they're on a 3-game losing streak right now, losing to the Rangers, losing to Montreal, losing to LA. I think they're due for a little bit of a bounce back here. Of course, Anaheim's on a little bit of a skid themselves. But Gibson, I mean, goals against on average here over the course of 11 games, 4.47. I mean, you're not getting anywhere with a goaltender like that. I understand Gibson's unconfirmed. Even Stolarz, 4 games, 3.74 save assists. I mean, I can't do it. Give me the Red Wings here on the road. Give me, I guess Kubalik is kind of leading their team in almost everything, it seems. But I mean, of course, I know Dylan Larkin. Give me 3 assists from Dylan Larkin. Okay. He's a great playmaker, great body out there. Kubalik, I guess, give me a goal as well. Detroit wins this one. I'll say 4-1.
All right. Let's see. For my third pick, I've been going back and forth between a few games here, but I guess I'll go with the slight underdog. I don't understand this line. I understand that the Maple Leafs have been playing better than the Pens.
Mm-hmm.
Pens are at home. Jari, one of the best in the business. I just don't understand that. Definitely can neutralize the Maple Leafs here as Renee checks in.
She says, hey, all. And she says, Barnes fever, LOL.
Now, what do you think she's referring to?
When I said I have Barnes fever.
Okay. Yeah. But we always appreciate that from Renee. But I think this will be a solid, I want to say 3-1 victory for the Penguins. Jari, probably 35 saves. And I want to say Sidney Crosby, 2 goals and an assist as the Penguins get over 500 here, 7-6-3 on the season after picking up the victory here.
Especially with Matt Murray here being confirmed. I know they face off, whatever. But Maple Leafs rolling with the 3 tender rotation here. Murray just getting his second start of the season. 1 loss where he gave up 4 goals, 826 save percentage in that game. I mean, that's nothing great, and they're going up against a team like Pittsburgh, who's kind of finding their offense again. So
bad line, -115. What's
yeah,
that all about?
Really terrible, dude. I don't get it.
How do you not start Samsonov? Did the Maple Leafs play last night?
No.
Maybe back to back tomorrow.
Let's see, dude. Maple Leafs,
no. That literally makes no sense. It's like Gerard Gallant is the head coach.
Yeah, maybe. I
of
don't
the
know.
Toronto
Dude.
Maple Leafs.
Maybe they're just. I mean, obviously, with the 3 goaltenders, maybe they're just trying to figure out who to drop at this point. Because Matt Murray, former Penguin.
Yeah, but that's stupid. The Penguins are going to light him up.
Probably.
Yeah.
They know his tendencies. They probably know that he's weak somewhere. So it's like stupid line too. But the house and the Penguins, take the dog.
House call.
Take the dog. Is that it?
You have one more.
Oh, my bad. Oh, look at me. I thought we were all done. All right. My last pick here. I mean, I gotta go with the Lightning, I guess, right? Just looking at the rest of the games that are left here. Caps at Panthers. Don't want to touch that. Canucks at Sabres, though. I'll take the Sabres. Why not? Sabres at home. We talked about them and how impressive their offense was. They're like a 5-game losing streak right now. Struggling to put up goals. Lost to Boston 3-1. Lost to Vegas 7-4. Lost to Arizona 4-1. Lost to Tampa Bay 5-3. Carolina 5-3. They are really struggling as of right now. And I just think that, we know about Tage Thompson, having some pretty impressive looks for Buffalo. Who was the other kid on their team? Young dude. Oh, Alex Took. Also on the team. 26-year-old, 6'4", 220. Just looking at his stats for the season, 7 goals, 4 assists. Started out hot. The Syracuse native. So, kind of the homegrown kid here. I think he's going to have a big game. We've seen him have these games with hat tricks, 2 goals, assists, whatnot. I think tonight, against a team like Vancouver, who also gives up lots of goals, I would say give me Buffalo here. 6-3.
All right. And for my final pick, and could you actually go to I just want to double check. I'm just looking to take him, but the Florida-Washington game. I know Darcy was starting.
Bobrovsky, I think, is likely.
Okay. And one thing that's interesting, in Kumper, we've kind of given a tough time, but he actually has a higher save percentage than Bobrovsky. He's actually been struggling. 3 and 4, 3.29 goals against. Darcy 2.63, 8.97 save percentage versus 9.11 for Kumper. Spencer Knight, the understudy, 5 and 2, 2.31, 9.22 goals against. So
like that,
from Darien, we talked about that last time. Only 21 years old. Might have a chance to steal a job here, but Washington
lack of offense,
not a great feel out of them this year. And I think Florida with Chuck and the fellas, can get things moving in the right direction. So I'm going to say Florida 4-2 over Washington.
Love it.
So interesting stuff, Tony. One thing we're going to do, and I know I'm catching you off guard here, but let's go to the world of Major League Baseball.
2-2, he got him swinging. A back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray. There's damage right there. Shohei, way, Cy-Yo, nada, where did that land? Smoke to Chapman, who leaps up and grabs it.
Story spins it, fires, out at first.
There it goes, see ya. Home run, Aaron Judge.
One thing I never really got to ask you, Tony, what's your thoughts on Bochy going to the Rangers? Former world's 3-time champion.
Yeah.
4 World Series appearances as manager.
Smart move, I guess, right?
Yeah. And then I believe they announced this probably during the season, but Phil Nevin, full-time permanent manager, right, for the Angels?
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. I don't quite.
Did you hear Trout might leave?
Who said that?
Some things I saw on Twitter, dude.
What was the gist?
It seems like Tampa Bay is gearing up for a big offer.
Interesting. Oh, but I think that's a parody.
You think so?
What?
I saw it on several accounts.
Tampa's payroll is less than what he makes for the whole season.
Yeah, I know.
They're not going to do that.
You don't think so?
Yeah, that's that's ridiculous, Tony.
I heard they're trying to get rid of Glass now too.
Yeah, no, but then they pulled him back, and then I don't know. There's just all this stuff going around. Obviously, the roster crunches and everything like that. Couple newsworthy items here. The first for the National League Rookie of the Year, Michael Harris.
Very nice.
Firsthand with the Mets playing them. What a special player they have there in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, as Atlanta typically does, they get these young dudes. They get these guys locked up as well. They love. Their guys over in Atlanta, dude. But yeah, I mean, obviously good for him. He did a lot of damage against the Mets. Did a lot of damage against the Mets late in the season when it counted as well. So you got to tip your hat to him,
On the American League side, Julio Rodriguez from the Mariners, well-deserved Rookie of the Year. And a guy, I mean, dare we say, because of the Seattle connection, the next Ken Griffey Jr. in the Pacific Northwest?
You think so?
I mean, he's a 5-tool player, is he not?
Yeah, he is. Obviously, the Rookie of the Year is great. Just looking at some of his stats, right here from last season, 284 batting average, 28 home runs, 145 hits, over 511 at bats here. Center fielder, tall, lanky, good looking here. You could say he is the next Ken Griffey Jr., I suppose.
Yeah, no, exciting player to watch. So we'll see if they can keep him out there in Seattle. What do you make of Ken Rosenthal, one of your favorite reporters, saying that the Astros have identified Yankee first baseman Anthony Rizzo as the number
dude.
one free agent target at first base? Yuli Gurriel expected to leave.
Is Gurriel going to be a free agent? What's the deal with?
Yes.
Yeah, he is, and they don't want to re-sign him.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think this is sincere interest, or do you almost see it as the Astros trying to drive up the price for the Yankees?
Hey, I mean, I feel like they would be interested. It'd be stupid not to be interested in Rizzo. I feel. I mean, with Gurriel leaving, he had a solid year, I suppose, with the Astros. It definitely was a little bit on the trending downward from previous years, but I feel like he did well in the postseason for them. Solid first baseman defensively. But if he leaves, I mean, I think Rizzo would be a great replacement. So why not, right?
Yeah, I just think though too,
You really think
Rizzo's
this
a
is drive the
competitor.
price? Yeah.
I think the Yankees will show that they want him back. So I just don't think he wants to go to Houston. That's just kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Some news for the Mets, nothing groundbreaking, but Andy Martino of SNY is reporting they've hired Jeff Albert as their new director of hitting to work in conjunction with Eric Chavez and assistant hitting coach Jeremy Barnes.
Jeremy who?
Jeremy Barnes, assistant hitting coach.
Yeah.
And Albert coming over from the St. Louis Cardinals. Did you hear anything about this?
I did actually. I did a little bit of research on our boy Jeff here. Most of his career, with the Cardinals here, he does typically he's had success with developing young at bats. I forget who the guy on the Cardinals was who had a really good Tyler O'Neill.
Yes.
Yeah. Developed him as a good batter, from the minors too. So that he does have some proof where, I suppose, his style of teaching works. But he is heavily into analytics. He does believe in I think St. Cardinals had like the lowest ground out percentages with him, the most pulled balls with him, highest percentage of pulled balls with him. But because he was heavy into analytics, Mike Schilt, old school manager, they butted heads a lot. So I'd be interested to see how he works with Buck, honestly, because Buck seems to be, he is old school, but he does look into analytics, on some occasions. So it should be interesting to see how Jeff kind of, I guess, meshes with Buck. But I like the move. I mean, he's had success. We need some type of mix up in terms of our approach at the plate here. So I say good job here, right?
Yeah. St. Louis, obviously, always a strong organization. Yeah. I just looked this up. I guess Schilt is the interim third base coach for the San Diego Padres. I didn't know anything about that.
Honestly, I didn't even know he was hired.
Yeah. And then one other thing that's kind of been hot out there, and potentially the Yankees and the Mets going after the same guy. And I'm sure with the Yankees, everything's like, well, we have to get the Judge contract done first, and then we'll see what we want to do. But maybe not. Maybe they could, multitask here. Justin Verlander, I guess the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Yankees all, heavily going after the 39-year-old, potentially 2022 Cy Young Award winner. What do you make of all of that, Tony? Is this a leverage play, or do you think Verlander could potentially be coming east or going further out west?
I mean, I can see why teams are interested in, but I don't know, dude. Do you really think he's going to follow up this season?
I mean, he's basically like a year or two ahead of where Scherzer was last year when the Mets signed him, pretty much.
Right. So I mean that's pretty significant. I feel, especially at his age, 39. I mean, why doesn't he should just retire? Honestly,
he's not. And
like
Kate Upton.
Yeah, I know Kate Upton. We know, but it's like you're gonna win the Cy Young. You won the World Series. Like, why not just retire top of your game? Fuck it.
I think it's the Bradyism. It's the I can, I will, and I like the spotlight.
Michael Thiefel says he's done. Period.
And before asking about the 450,
your thoughts on the Mariners J-Rod lifetime contract
that?
before? I don't know. I didn't hear that he did.
I remember something about that.
Yeah,
but
I mean, good for Verlander for coming out here and doing what he did this past season. Love to see that he has offers. But I think it's tight leash here for him. 39 years old. I feel like this past year was just like a freakish year for him. I don't even know if he can. make it through a whole season without, having issues. Honestly, I really don't.
Michael is so sick of him
and
Kate.
Kate. Get out of here, such
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Wow, I'm really surprised. I didn't really think.
Yeah, well, the Yankee
Michael would
Astros
think-
angle.
What? Yeah, I don't know.
The thing that's tough is I would honestly say, and no matter what the number is, on a 1-year deal, I would be all in favor of it. But I think to get Verlander, with multiple teams after him, I think it's going to take probably 3. And
Yeah,
I
probably.
think,
That's
as Matt would say, you can't do that.
Yeah. Michael says spider tack cheater. You think?
Who knows? I think everybody. I think the whole spider tack thing was overblown. I think everybody used spider tack. It's not a big deal at the end of the day. It's just something for grip, and the whole situation I think is pathetic with the checking and all of that. I mean, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
But push comes to shove. Where does Mr. Verlander end up signing?
Yankees.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the terms?
I would say with the Yankees, there's a 1 year.
But they're going to give him like 40?
Yeah, probably. 38 and a half.
I don't know. As a 1-year pack, I mean, would you be that tight if the Mets signed him? If
No.
it was just 1 year?
No.
Like, you wouldn't be tight.
I would not be tight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing.
And if not Yankees, I would say Mets because I feel like Scherzer.
Would that be the oldest? Oh, if DeGrom comes back, the oldest top 3 MLB history?
Probably, right?
Most money.
Top 3, yeah.
So that's definitely interesting. I don't know if you caught. Wait, what do we got here?
Verlander got money going to Rangers. Rangers have money to blow.
That's an interesting angle.
They say DeGrom's going there.
They do say that, but who knows? Is that a leverage play? Free agency is just the best. I wish we could get going though. The only thing I've really heard of is that Rafael Montero, 3 years, $34 million back to the Astros.
Where do you think Bogarts is a free agent? Where do you think he ends up?
People are saying, the Dombrowski connection with his time with the Red Sox. Maybe he goes to Philadelphia.
Wow.
But they have Bryson Stout. But I know Xander Bogaerts, you can always find a place for him. But interesting stuff. And I guess they aired it yesterday. I didn't watch it. And I heard a couple clips. Enough. How did he sit down with Meredith Marakic yesterday on the Yes Network? And it's the same thing with like Dolan with his MSG sit downs.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are so weak that they only will do interviews with networks that they own. I mean, that's ridiculous. And basically, he kind of talks sideways, I guess you could say, because he was blaming the loss with the Astros on the fact that Benintendi and LeMahieu weren't healthy. They balanced the lineup, saying, that it was unacceptable. But then, I don't know, kind of just going back and forth. And
it was pathetic, dude.
In terms of Judge being captain, he said it's something we'll consider, and that he's communicated several times to Judge that they want him back. But Hal, I mean, it's so ridiculous.
How could you work for that man? Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it's Cashman's doing everything. I really question, how much Hal is actually doing on a day-to-day
Hal
basis.
loves Cashman. He loves Boone.
Oh my God.
It was so bad, dude. Blaming it on injuries. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It really does. But one positive thing, and I think it was either him or Cashman that said this, but then again, they are the same person, that the plan is to have Volpe and Peraza up the middle next season.
You think so? You think that's really going to follow through with that?
Yeah, I do.
That'd be pretty dope.
Because I think Glaber gets traded,
and
I think they move off IKF or have him be a backup. And I think he would be okay as a backup, but the problem is I just don't want that possibility of him coming back. And I feel like by having him as a backup, how nervous they are with just starting guys from day one. But that would just be so exciting to have those two guys, the youth up the middle, a double play combination for the next 15 years. I mean, let's go.
Yeah, why not?
That's what you need. And I think the Mets are the same way, where they haven't done that either, with two guys coming up through the organization, team building. I mean, I feel like it's like 3 things that really like stand out to me as parallels. And you might think this is ridiculous, but number 1, drinking water. Okay. Number 2, running the football. And number 3, baseball, developing your own talent. Tell me they all don't have a parallel, Tony.
They do.
All right.
You're not wrong.
So that's what I got. But can we get going with free agency? Get some moves, Tony.
I know, dude.
When do you think like a big domino falls? This week, next week, Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, yeah, is what I'm thinking after Thanksgiving.
So we got to sweat it out.
Yeah.
But other than other than that, Tony, anything else on the way out here?
Not really. Yesterday we had a nice couple gaming corners yesterday. One of which the big screen down in the boathouse downstairs. Manny and I Mario Kart. We've done Mario Kart several times, but obviously yesterday was a special one on the big screen. We were shuffling players into. We had a few guest, karters or racers, I probably should say. Check it out on our YouTube, as well as the Madden from last night. Madden with a little sprinkle of PGA. It was a great time. A lot of wins, a lot of losses, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. Check out the gaming corner too. And obviously subscribe to Downtime. If you're enjoying the videos, it really means a lot. As preferred, one of our biggest fans with a good show, fellas, on the way out.
There we go. But once again, appreciate everyone tuning in and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. Archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Renee, Michael in costume, merch, downtimetv.com. Everybody enjoy the day, enjoy the games, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.